Well, good afternoon. It is the Monday the 29th of January. We are headed to Rockford Annual to put the plane in annual. It's going to be a big annual. We have, what is this thing acting? There it goes. We have a lot to do. We'll talk about it on the flight up. The flight up should be about 35-40 minutes. The weather is not very nice. Ceilings here in Moline, 3,400 or so. We're going to go up at 2,500. Ceiling in Rockford is 2,800 and light snow. So we're going to see if we can't get in there. VFR, the clouds are very thin. If we have to, we'll pop up. We'll grab a pop-up IFR and get up in them. They're not thick enough to hold a lot of moisture, so I'm not terribly concerned about them. I'm testing a new checklist today. That's kind of interesting. But other than that, we'll talk about what we're doing to the plane. It's going to hurt. Let me put it to you that way. But all right, so here we go. Autopilot master. We'll do test the autopilot. Go there, on, right, left. Heading mode, right, overpower it, left, overpower it. Now we do altitude hold. There it grabbed. Everything's a little cold. It's about 25 degrees. Okay. That feels good. One second, we're going to stop the tablet from twisting here. Might have to cut this out because I can't remember how to do it. It is? It was some combination. I got an iPhone 10 and it's different than the iPad now. Okay. So back to the checklist. Not want the voice yakking at. Okay, shoe. Good. Tooth is done. 121.5. Good. All right, let's get ready for the ATIS.
Airport ATIS information, Quebec 1752 Zulu, observation, wind 32011, visibility 10, fuel clouds 3000, ceiling 3700 broken, temperature -3, dew point -11, altimeter 3050. Instrument approaches in use, landing departing runway 2731. Notice to airman Quad City radar out of service, and radar services are limited. Advise on initial contact, you have cut back. Quad City Airport data information, Quebec 1752 Zulu observation, wind 32011, visibility 10, fuel clouds 3000, ceiling 3700 broken, temperature -3, dew point -11, altimeter 3050.
Okay. Not going to worry about that. Clearance delivery. $24.5. Quad City clearance delivery, Comanche 6928 Papa.
Comanche 6928 Papa, Quad City clearance delivery.
Yeah, afternoon, sir. We're VFR 2500 to Rockford, please.
Comanche 6928 Papa, maintain at or below 4000, departure frequency 125.905, squawk 0322.
At or below 4000, 12595 and 0322, 6928 Papa.
Comanche 28 Papa, read back correct.
All right, we'll get the frequency set up. PS is programmed. That with that. Transponder is set. Lights are good. Directional gyro is set. Comm radios are set. We got tower, departure, ground. Nav radios we don't have to worry about. Airspeed is good. Altimeter is good. SI. Flaps are up. Trim set. Landing gear indicator is green. Check the brakes. Brakes are good. Taxiing checklist. Good. All the ground for taxi. So let's pull up the taxi diagram. Quad City ground, Comanche 6928 Pop at the South Tees with Quebec looking to taxi to the active. At 121.9, Mike, not 0.8. Quad City ground, Comanche 6928 Pop at the South Tees with Quebec looking to taxi to the active.
Check car 26, safe parking.
Oh, sorry.
Check car 26, when able, turn left. Cherokee 6928 Papa, Quad City ground, runway 31 at Kilo 12, taxi by Kilo.
Kilo to Kilo 12, hold short of 31, it's Comanche 6928 Papa. Not that I think it matters, but, you know. I go a little bit quicker than a Cherokee. I don't know if it matters to him.
Hotel left on Juliet, cross runway 27,
right.
Remain this frequency.
So we're taxiing. You heard the winds. It's coming out of the northwest. We just had a cold front go through. I was going to do it this morning, but the cold front was slower than what was forecast, so I had to sit here and wait for, well, I sat at home and waited for,
Comanche 28 Papa, just to be advised, our radar is out of service today, our primary radar, that is, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get you flight following all the way to Rockford. However, we'll get you airborne and see what the radar picks up.
Yeah, that'll work, sir. I don't know if it helps or not, but I do have ADS-B on.
That'll make a big difference.
Roger, thanks. Okay, so, had to wait a bit. Clouds are low. It's worse up there. We're just going to see. If we have to turn around, we'll turn around, but I don't think it'll be that bad. As long as the clouds stay up, I'll fly through snow. Snow doesn't stick to the wing, but I don't want to get up in those clouds unless I have to. And even then, it's just going to be a pop-up IFR, get up, get down. All right, this Kilo, make a right on Kilo. So I hope everybody's been nice and good. I have not flown in a month, almost 2 months. It was, life was busy in the beginning of December, then the weather here turned miserable.
Check our 26, taxi via
The last 2 weeks of December.
Behind the Comanche.
We had, at one point it was, one Sunday morning, the weather was great, and it was minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit. I went, yeah, no. I love flying, but I don't love it that much. And it was like that for a span of like 3 weeks. It was just below zero, below zero.
Popeye, man, I missed it. Did you have Quebec?
I do, sir. I do have Quebec.
Roger.
Or Quebec. And so I didn't go. I haven't been flying. Then life got busy here the last part of January, and so we're gonna go today, and we're doing it nice and easy. Get the head into the game and make sure it stays in the game. So that wind, and the wind is It's gusting. It was gusting to 16, but it's 10 degrees off 3-1. When I get up to Rockford, it might be a little bit of a crosswind, but not enough to sweat over. What bugs me is the clouds. I just don't have much ceiling. I did check the route real carefully, the VFR sectional. There's no towers until you get up by the nuke plant. That'll interfere, even if I had to run up at 1,500 feet. That's good. One good thing about living in flat country, you got towers and stuff, but they occupy a very small area compared to, like a cumulogranite mountain or something. So we'll go up at 2,500. Hopefully we'll get flight following. Their primary radar is down. I'm looking up on the hill there. Yeah, it's not spinning either, so, oh well. Anyway, I hope everybody had a real good holidays, Christmas, and is getting through the winter nice. I'm going up, my annual is actually in February, but it's supposed to get down to into the teens again here later this week, so I figured, well, I'll just run up today if I can. There's nothing, not much colder than pre-flighting a plane on an airport with the wind. So we'll do this. All right, we're coming up on Kilo 12. We'll do our run up. And level the ailerons. There are our annotations. Yes, we know. I have not entered 3-1, I assure you. Okay. So, let's get our run up done. First I want to check this to make sure we're recording. We are, excellent. Okay. Brake set. Doors and windows are closed and locked. Flight controls. Free and correct. Directional gyro is set. Mixture rich, throttle 1500 RPM. One. Get some warm oil up there. Two. That looks good. And that'll work as well. Now we go to 2000. Make sure the brakes hold. Left mag looks good. Right mag. Looks equally good. Carb heat is functioning. Suction, oil pressure, fuel pressure, oil temperature is off the stops. Bring it back to 1,000. One thing I did forget to do. 46 gallons. Close enough. All right. And okay, circuit breakers. All in. Radio set to tower. Next frequency set. Trim. Final check. Primer is in and locked. Carb heat is off. Propeller is full forward. Throttle friction lock is good. Mixture is rich. Transponder is set. We are going to bring on some pitot heat because it is very cold. I don't plan on penetrating those clouds, but if I have to. View the takeoff checklist. Checklist app just kind of crapped out on me. Mixture rich. Fuel boost pump on. Landing taxi strobes. All tower. Quad City Tower, Comanche 6928 Papa, ready for takeoff. Kilo 12 and 31.
Comanche 6928 Papa, Quad City Tower, turn right direct Rockford, runway 300 Kilo 12, clear for takeoff.
Right direct Rockford, Kilo 6928 Papa, cleared for takeoff. Okay. Look at that windsock, slightly right to left, but within 10-12 degrees. I don't think it's much of anything. But we will pay attention to it. Everything looks good. We are lights, camera. There we go. Engine sounds good. No hesitation. There's full throttle. Throttle friction lock is set. There's 80. We'll go ahead and rotate. 85. There's 90. It'll be a little bit bumpy. Brakes. Landing gear coming up. Make sure we're in tight here. We're looking for 105. Cylinder head temperatures are doing good. And there's 1,000 feet, right turn. And let's go ahead and get into a cruise climb. We're going to 2,500 feet. 056 heading, we want a ground track of 056. Wind is out of the north. There's 125 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and back it off the RPM.
Comanche 28 Papa, contact departure.
28 Papa, over departure, thanks sir. Quad City departure, Comanche 6928 Papa. En route to Rockford, climbing to 2,500.
Comanche 6928 Papa, Quad City departure, ident.
There's your ident indicating 1,800 right now.
Comanche 28 Papa, radar contact about a mile north of the Quad City Airport and the altitude check, thank you.
Okay. So to get a 056 heading, we need to fly 038. That's how quite a bit of wind coming here. And it's going to be bumpy. It doesn't actually look too bad ahead of us. I pushed off the time. There's 2,250. Everything looks good. Fuel flow. The oil temp is still coming up. There's 2,400. There's 2,500. So let's go ahead and level off. And we're going to do 75 horsepower, 75% today. Is 24.623 initially. Let her speed up. we'll back it down. 24.6. 23. So boost pump can come off. Fuel pressure still looks good. All right. Carburetor temp is minus 10. So minus 10. Is minus 0.17. Well, that's a manifold variation though. We're supposed to be 11, so it's 20 degree is 0.34. So we're going to do 24, 23 for 75%. We're going to lean it out here to not too much leaning because it is cold, dense air. All right. I was going to go flying yesterday, but there was low turbulence warnings for low altitude turbulence at 3,000 feet all over this part of the country. And sure enough, when you looked at the winds aloft, right at 3,000 feet, it changed pretty dramatically. So I kind of scrubbed that whole thing. I was just going to go get some breakfast and before today's flight because I knew it was going to be a little bit, windier today. So anyway, let's go through our cruise checklist. Take off and climb. Yeah, mirror check is not working as I'd hoped. Flaps are up, gear is up, propeller is good. Okay, that is really annoying. Yeah, okay, that's not going to work. Throttle is set. Propeller mixture. Fuel boost pump is off. Fuel pressure. Checked it. Gauges look good. Heading indicator. Actually, that's pretty good. Alright, so the winds out of the north, they're going to be landing north. So, are going to fade to the south just a smidge. Okay, we're at 2,500. It is plus 10. So we're doing 168 miles an hour, right on the numbers, or right on the numbers for this plane. All right, so what are we doing at annual? Why is it going to be so painful? Well, last month I started thinking about annual, and as I've told everybody before, I'm pulling the entire vacuum system, and I'm putting another G5 in here, which will tie into the autopilot and give me the equivalent of GPSS steering, because it ties into this, and it takes the vacuum system, which is an item that does fail. You normally replace them every 500 hours because they do fail just without warning. Boom, they're gone. And when you're if I was in the clouds, that becomes well, I think you'd classify it as an emergency at that point, because now you're doing the old-fashioned way where you're just using the ball and the turn and bank indicator, and you're using your altimeter and your airspeed indicator. You're flying what they call partial panel. And because we don't, in the old days, that's all they did, but because we don't do it nowadays that much, it's just an emergency procedure. I'm rusty at it. I'd hate to have to do it for real. I'd try my damnedest, but it's something you got to practice.
Traffic, 6 o'clock, same altitude, less than 1 mile.
Okay, that's ADS-B messing with me. That's me. So, I decided, okay, we're going to do that. Then Cliff, the mechanic here that we're going to go see, he owns the shop. Actually, Tim is the mechanic that works on the plane. He said, hey, have you thought about putting an electronic ignition in? And I never have. So I started doing some research on electronic ignitions. And basically what they do is they replace one of the magnetos, which is another item that fails rather regularly. You want to rebuild your magnetos every 500 hours. It's magnetos might be 1930s technology, I'm not real sure. And you're going to you got to rebuild them. So, I looked into it. It increases performance, it increases fuel, or decreases fuel flow, a lot of good things. It's more like a car's ignition system. And so I said, okay, that's a good idea. As I was thinking about that, though, of course, my brain tripped to the next subject. I'm like, well, now wait a minute. That'll give me a electronic ignition. If that fails, I still have a magneto, so I can still limp home, just like I have a magneto now. And unfortunately, I was sitting there and I was going, well, wait a minute. If I lose the alternator, which is now my single point of failure, right? The landing gear, electric. The electronic ignition, the magnetos don't need a battery, don't need an alternator. They all run and run and run. Without it, that's what makes them, that's why people put them on airplanes to begin with. Well, I got to thinking, now all I have with this electronic ignition, if I lose that alternator belt, right? This belt is my single point of failure, and that electronic ignition will draw down the battery very quickly. So, and I had mentioned before that, I might want to look at some kind of backup alternator, and this really brought it to the forefront. If I'm going to do this, now that electronic ignition system is going to be pulling juice out of my battery well, there are some snow showers out here, but it would look all right straight ahead. It's going to be pulling juice out of my battery to fire the ignition and drain that all the quicker. And everything, all of my navigation, except, of course, Mother Nature here with the compass, is run on my radios. Everything is run by, so that then led to I purchased a BNC backup alternator. So where the vacuum pump comes off, there's an open accessory port. We're going to put a backup alternator on and tie it in to the main electrical system, so that if I lose the primary alternator, the backup alternator kicks on, my light comes on and says, hey, you've lost your primary alternator. And it's just safety, right? It doesn't impact the performance of the aircraft. It doesn't impact my performance on these have 4-hour backups. I wasn't worried about that, but it doesn't impact the performance on my radio. So I was like, all right, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Well then, this is mission creep now. I'm looking at how it all goes together, and I'm like, God, getting to that oil filter, that's going to be a pain. So I bought an Airwolf remote oil filter. So we're doing that. So we're doing this, HSI, we're doing the electronic ignition, we're doing the backup alternator, and we're doing the Airwolf. And that is, and plus the annual. And my normal annual, you know, with bungees and everything.
6928 Papa, Rockford's normal radar is out of service, so they're not going to be able to see at that altitude. Radar services are terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved, and if you're heading to Rockford there, you may as well about 15 out, give the tower a call. You have a nice day, sir.
Roger, 6928 Papa, squawking 1200. I'll switch over to Rockford when I get closer. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we are sounds flight following. So let me pull up a Rockford plate here. We're going to use runway 1. I'm sure the wind is out of the north. We'll get ADS-B here in a sec. First we got to correct our altitude. We got a little bit sidetracked there. So anyway, that's the big news. This annual is going to be painful. Oh, no, I'm not done. Yeah. So actually the most painful part is we're replacing these. I figured why everything is opened up and they're working in the panel. I bought an EDM 830 engine monitoring system. And we're installing that with carb temp. And that's going to go over here. I don't know if it's going to go this way or this way. I got to talk to Tim about that. But that's it. So, engine monitoring system, which I bought choked on. We're replacing the oil filters coming back, electronic ignition and a backup alternator, and this. So it's going to be painful. But it is what it is. This makes it safer. The backup alternator makes it safer. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Let's get Rockford here figured out. We're still, we were 46 miles out. We'll get a little bit closer. And we really got to keep an eye out for traffic because now there's nobody watching for us. Or helping us watch, I should say. We're going to go ahead and switch tanks to fuel boost pump on. Right main on. Left main off. Fuel pressure is holding. Holding. Fuel boost pump off. Alright, that still looks good. Let's say we use 4. 4 out of the left. 23, we're on the right. And we'll land on the right. Alright, so starting to cook here. You know, I was wondering, last year I put on this different exhaust system and I thought, oh, you know, because this plane was always super warm in the wintertime. And I thought, oh God, I don't know if it's going to be as warm, but it actually does pretty good. Report 4/6 of a mile. So, get my plate back up. 27.6. Get the ATIS dialed in here. And Rockford's going to be 121. Hours 118.1. There's a nice updraft. Well, there's a snow shower in front of us. Alright, so let's get everything set. It's getting a little bit hazier. I am just north of Morrison, Illinois. Or I'm sorry, I'm actually east of Morrison. I'm just northwest of Sterling, Rock Falls. Clouds are, oh, they're about 20 Now they're 3,000, a little bit over maybe. We're really looking for traffic. We are lit up. Yes, we are. Now I'm looking for that nuke plant. I want to make sure I stay south of it. I want to do it by a margin here. All right, there it is. So keep an eye out for that. Actually, I can see that. I can just see the shadow of the towers. So visibility is about 27 miles. All right, so we'll track south of them. Now that could close down on us. There are snow showers over here, but maybe there's a little one there to the north. And you know, the weather's moving north to south, and we're moving southwest to northeast. I'm going to track south of those plants. We're 37 miles out. When we get to 30, I'll switch over and see if I can't raise Rockford on the radio. Anyway, so that's all the big news. I spent a lot of time researching stuff. This with the weather was bad, so it made me think about flying. Just couldn't do much of it. The nice thing that this new system is going to do is allow me to lean more accurately and get that 100 degrees richer peak is the best power mixture for a Comanche. And it's going to allow me to zero in on that a little bit better. And with that electronic ignition, you're actually, supposedly, it'll burn less fuel per hour to do it because it's more efficient. We'll see. I didn't buy it for the efficiency so much as for the safety of an electronic ignition. There's no moving parts. You know, it's not like a magneto. So anyway, we're 14 minutes out. Ground speed is only 137 knots because we're fighting into a northerly wind here. It's not terribly bumpy for the. Thank God the clouds are actually the wind. The bumps are the wind. The bumps aren't thermals. It's actually not too bad. We got to keep an eye on those towers. If I start to see them fade out, that means there's a snow squall in between us and the towers, and we know south of that snow squall right now is good visibility, so we'll aim to shoot that channel. I don't think it's snowing hard enough. They say light snow, so visibility shouldn't come too low. Clouds still look about the same. Let's go ahead and get there. Rockford's reporting MVFR. 54 minutes ago, 2,800 feet. And the wind's only 8 knots up here, right down the runway, well, 10 degrees off the runway. And they are reporting light snow. That was 54 minutes ago. So let's go ahead. We're 30 nautical miles out. Let's go ahead and start talking to them. Rockford approach, Comanche 6928 Papa.
Comanche 6928 Papa, Rockford.
Good afternoon. I'm 30 miles southwest of the field coming from Moline. I understand your guys' primary radar is out. I'm at 2,500, looking for a full stop landing.
Comanche 28 Papa, Roger. Reference my primer being out. I won't see you, and I'm not going to be able to see you most likely before 1,000. So just calling the tower around 10 or further out on 118.1.
Roger, I'll go over to tower and call about 12:15 out. Wilco, 28 Papa.
Roger, and we're landing runway 1.
Roger, I'll stay south of the nuke plant. That'll work. Thank you, sir. Okay, so that's easy enough to do. All right. Make sure we keep looking for traffic.
Air Transport 3885 Heavy, readback correct. Current wind is 010 at Niner. All runways are open and available. Just advise when you're ready, what runway you would like, and push engine start your discretion.
1,700 feet is pattern altitude. We got those towers. The snow shower is over here. It looks like there might be one off over there, but I think we're going to go right in between them. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So we're 26 miles out. Message, okay. I'm going to go ahead and descend down. If these clouds are reported at 2,800, I want to be 500 foot below them, so I'm going to go down to 2,200 or 2,300 to make sure I stay underneath. Hope everything is recording. Otherwise, I'll do a sit down at home. All right, there's 2,300. Or 2,400, we'll go down to 23.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 30th of January, a day after the flight that I just cut off. For some reason, at 42 minutes in, the sound just went wonky. I don't know what happened. It was all scratchy, and then it got out of sync. So sorry to the guys in the Rockford Tower. They had asked, and I said I was recording, but it just wasn't recording right. When I got home and reviewed everything, it wasn't right. So I'm going to stop the video here and tell you the landing was perfect. No, just kidding. It was okay landing. I'll see you all in 45 days or so when it comes out of annual and I get the plane back. I hope you all have a good late winter, early spring, and I'll talk to you later.